What's a thing you've bought impulsively, without need, that's actually proved useful in your life? I bought a water bottle. Already have several that I use regularly, as a souvenir at a national park with my girlfriend because she had one like it. I now use that one every day because I like the cap mechanism. Tell me more of this cap mechanism. Big pack of assorted screws. Was at Home Depot and saw them. Said why not, and bought them. I think was like $12, and I've used almost all of them. A portable charger. It holds 11-12 full charges of my iPhone and I just bought it on a whim. It has literally changed my life like few other purchases have ever done. The official Bob Ross Master Paint Set. Bought in February with no prior artistic experience, and have since painted 23 oil paintings. I don't really paint in Bob's style anymore, but it was a great way to get started learning. This is oddly wholesome. I'd love to see one of your pieces. A Roomba. It was on sale. Crazy cheap, like 50% off. I bought it. We have an open floor plan and linoleum floors. It's so amazing. Our living room furniture is elevated enough that it fits under the couches. We have 4 cats that shed like crazy, but there is never hair or litter. Every day it vacuums the first floor and has been such a time saver. 10/10 would buy again, and we did. Got one for the second floor and purchased an older model for each of our immediate family for Xmas. I love my Roomba too. It was a gift and is without a doubt the best gift I have ever received. However, my joy comes from what I call the secondary effects of having a Roomba. And that is no shoes left out by the door, no backpacks left on the floor, no random socks left wherever. Works on both kids and husbands. Spent $100 on a dog bed made out of Kevlar, the stuff, and bulletproof vests. Dog has been using it for 3+ years now without tearing even a tiny hole in it. Much better than buying cheap $25 beds every couple of weeks. Plus your dog is now safe against the gangster mole's stray bullets. I bought a rice cooker even though I don't eat much rice and don't particularly like it. It came with a vegetable steamer. I use that thing literally every day until I upgraded to an instant pot with a steamer basket. A colossal improvement to my nutrition and life in general. Instapot. Was looking into getting a rice cooker and opted for the Instapot instead. Best rice ever, as well as being multi-purpose. We've used it maybe a dozen or so times in just a few months. 10-foot phone charger. I needed a new charger and it was on sale, so it was the cheapest option. But holy heck has it served me good. Need to roll over in bed but still charge? You can. Wanna sit anywhere on the couch and still charge? You can. Are you in the backseat of a car and need to charge? You can. I bought 10-foot micro USB cables for my PS4 to use if I forgot to charge the controller and play. The kids and wife stole them to charge their Kindles. Really powerful flashlight, like 900 lumens or something ridiculous. Used it to find my cat that got out the other night. Spotted the reflection in her eyes in a nearby bush. Also good for lining up my oil filter when I do changes. 2. Great purchase. Miso bought me a 2000 lumens torch as a safety measure should I need to walk out at night. We are in the countryside, so no street lights. Never used it to dazzle a would-be attacker, but my daughter and I use it to pick out constellations when we're sitting in the backyard at night. An electric tire inflator. It was on sale for $19.95, so I bought 2. One that plugs into a garage wall outlet, and the other stays in the car and plugs into the vehicle's utility outlet. Gone are the days of going to gas station air pumps, and sometimes having to pay for air. Found one at flea market for $3. Didn't think it would work. Bought it anyway, thinking at least I will have fun opening it and trying to fix it. Worked perfectly. I have had it for years now. Paid for itself several times over. My neighbor's kids borrow it for their bikes. Pool hall offered a student membership. $20. I didn't plan to play much pool there, or anywhere at the time, but I figured what the heck. Well, one of the perks was $2 off drinks. Helped me become a functional alcoholic all through university and grad school. A brown heavy coat. Looks ugly as heck, but insulates so that I feel just like heck. 2. A lifesaver. Historical video games have been the key to passing history. Hoi 4 saves me in my geography tests. Only downside is my mental map of the world hasn't been updated since the 1940s. Until last year I thought Yugoslavia was still a country. Back in middle school, we still only had maps with the URSS. We knew it had disbanded, but we kept calling it the URSS because, well, we had it on the map. It was around 2007. A good soldering iron. I used to think I sucked at soldering because I was using a cheapo Walmart special that cost me $5. Turns out soldering is 90% equipment, 10% skill. With a good iron, even I, with a really low skill score, can solder surface mount components without issue. Since I purchased my Hacko, I've built several synthesizers from scratch, and they're some of my most prized possessions because I built them myself with my own 2 hands. I wouldn't have had the confidence to do that had I not found a good iron. 15% concentrated power of will. Toolbox was on sale at the checkout. Small one, not one of those big ones. $25, thought why not? Saved me so many times over the years. Definitely a Leatherman. I'd always had multi-tool type things, and my dad has a Leatherman of his own, so I knew it was good, but just never bothered. One day I passed it in the aisle of minutes and thought why not? That son of a bee is so useful. Open boxes? Check. Cut paper? Check. Hang nail in an emergency? Check. Get splinters out? Check. Saw wood? Check. Much better than any previous multi-tool I had. It was worth the $60. Heck, knowing what I know now, I'd even pay double that if I need a new one. Totally agree. Won a wave in a drawing a few years ago and pretty much forgot about it. Ran across it packing for a camping trip last month and tossed it in my bag. Wow, best tool ever. Can't tell you how many times it came in handy. I bought a popcorn bowl for the microwave. Okay, hear me out, it's made out of a microwavable plastic that allows you to pop the kernels without adding oil because it gets really hot, and I think the shape of it helps. I use it to pre-cook veggies for the oven and as a serving bowl too. I swear as far as bowls go it's the best one ever. A lockpick set. I wanted it as like a mini puzzle for my own old locks or the practice lock that came with it. I ended up having a friend's girlfriend lose her money box key for their fundraiser thing they did every week. She wanted a new box and just needed the money out, so I actually managed to get it open so she could get the cash out. Literally bought the set for like $8 on Amazon for fun. Motorcycle. I used my brief riding experience to talk to ADAS on why they need better detection of motorcycles. BCA kinda was not a good answer. My little talk made the company go out and purchase specific motorcycle targets to more accurately detect and respond to motorcycles. ADAS. Whoa, you probably saved lives. Apple Watch. Bought it randomly in an Apple store one day because I just like having the latest tech. It very quickly found a heart condition and according to my doctor quite likely saved my life. Aside from that, it's useful for streaming music at the gym and generally makes me use my phone less. It also tells time. Not eye roll, but I found out that in Pathfinder, a game similar to D&D, you could purchase a mithril waffle iron for 2,500 GP. One of the final bosses of a dungeon we were clearing about a month or so later was named the Butcher and we had to defeat him via a cook-off. My waffles infused with holy might caused the boss, who was also judge, to choke on the very first bite and we reigned victorious. I had to reread this because I thought the GP bought you a real life waffle iron, which would have been extra dope. I learned to knit kit at Dollar General. I saw it and thought I'll get it and start knitting. 4 years later I knit all the time. I'm wearing hand warmers I made right now. Every member of my family and all my close friends have something I knitted for them. I have a ton of hats, scarves, shawls, gloves, and ice bags that I've made. I even make a little money now and again when someone commissions a project. I knit at work when I'm bored, and at home while watching TV. I bought a Milwaukee impact driver and drill set. I generally didn't do handiwork before I bought it, but I use the set regularly now and couldn't imagine life without it. Best $170 I've ever spent. Hue light bulbs. I set them on a timer and managed to gradually reset my body clock by 2 hours, making it easy to get up at 6 AM, even during winter, have a decent breakfast and get into work an hour before everyone else. Productivity went up, Work became a breeze. Brilliant. Impulse bought a robot vacuum last weekend. It cost entirely too much, and I only got it because I'm lazy. It's actually pretty good. It's a bit dumb and I have to rescue it sometimes, but it cleans pretty well. I bought £50 worth of ink cartridges off Amazon. Kind of regretted it after. Years later, I'm still good for ink whenever my pen runs out, and intend to be for a few years yet. A strainer that clips onto a pot. Bought it as a joking stocking stuffer. Ended up with it myself after shenanigans. And now I love it. Way easier than digging out the big ole colander for pasta, draining ground turkey, etc. A fabric shaver. This has saved so many of my clothes. A triple bristle toothbrush. I have a permanent retainer on my bottom teeth and it is a challenge to clean it effectively. Purchased the triple bristle from a random Instagram ad at 230 am and was prepared to hate it, but it is great. On that same line, a water pick flosser is amazing. On a not so small purchase side, I got a Nectar mattress and it has made a huge difference. I cannot believe the difference it has made. Laser burner. I bought it offline because if a video where you could melt crap with it. It was a bright blue light and came with a lightsaber type of handle. Totally dumb purchase. There was little real life application for it. I kept it in my car for safety. Then I get scheduled to work a security shift at the hotel I used to work at. There's a wedding that night and they ended up getting pretty rowdy. I wrapped up my hours but they were still partying and invited me to join them. Two of the girls were really flirty and tipsy and they wanted to get me drunk. They also wanted to light their smokes but lost their lighter. I got the blow laser burner out of my car, lit their cigs, and it turned into a party trick. I crap you not. Lighting their cigs and melting their names into a Hershey bar got me a 2-girl blowjob and half a threesome. We were all pretty drunk but the one girl couldn't keep up after a few minutes and went to the other hotel bed to sleep. The lens doesn't work much anymore, but I still keep it in my car after all these years because of that, and because it's at least a decent baton. A pocket knife. I bought one just because it looked cool, thinking I had no need for one. I honestly carry it everywhere with me now and use it for a bunch of different stuff either at my job or in my daily life. I am not the strongest so just to get stuff open or cut stuff or leverage things, I would recommend people get one. Can also double as a small weapon in case you get robbed. I've carried a pocket knife for 30 years. It's kind of irritating how often people borrow it. I used to buy cheap ones at yard sales and give them to people that frequently borrowed mine. Everybody ought to have a pocket knife. Pretty much anything I buy on impulse at Costco. I swear I am Costco's target market personified. As for something specific, I bought 2 outdoor outlet timers that you can set to go on off in 30-minute increments throughout the day. No real need for the 30-minute capability but figured I could use it for my outdoor Halloween and Christmas decorations, inflatables, lights. Then I moved to a house that's on a main school bus route and now I use that 30-minute function to have them automatically go on for the 1 hour in the morning when buses go to school, 1 hour when they pass by me on the way home, and then again between 5 and 10 PM. Only have to set it once in October and I'm good for the season. It was free, but a library card. I was walking by my local branch one day and just decided to pop in and get a card real quick. Use it all the time. Having fun isn't hard when you have a library card. Electric kettle. Husband bought it when he was smack in the middle of his brief tea obsession, but it's proved wildly useful for so much more and I love it. As a British person this is mind-blowing that not everyone has a kettle in their kitchen, lol. I don't even drink tea at home but when I got my own place one of the first things I brought was a kettle. I don't think I've ever visited someone's house that doesn't have one. Espresso machine. I never realized how versatile they can be and how expensive coffee shops are when you compare it. The machine paid for itself 10 times over now. I bought a $9 pop at a rib fest once. I didn't want to wait in line so I went to this old-fashioned soda stand. The pop was forgettable. The tin cup it came in is now 10 years old and gets daily use as my water cup while working at my desk. The Jim Kay illustrated Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's huge, like a coffee table book, and it is so beautiful. My daughter loves it. We read it together every night. and her reading comp scores have improved at school. Best purchase ever. Raspberry Pi. I bought it when I was bored and watching random YouTube videos. So far I have used it to control electronic circuits using Python programming, and I am using it to learn Linux commands. Sudo apt-get install new jump. Corkscrew. I bought a semi-fancy $10 corkscrew despite maybe drinking 1 or 2 bottles of wine a year. Well, flash forward to full-on old guy adulthood, and now I find myself splitting a bottle of wine with my wife at least 2 or 3 times a month. Sometimes more. I bought a super fancy gun-like wine opener that is way overly complicated. I just use the standard levered corkscrew I bought at the grocery store years ago that I thought would probably end up being a waste of money. Heck, I used it just last night. A kitchen scale. I use it for everything in the kitchen. Coffee, portion control, making formula for my daughter, everything. My food has increased in quality since measuring by weight instead of volume. It's really crazy how much of a difference something so seemingly trivial can make. Bought a Black Series Kilo Ren lightsaber. Turned out to be a good cat deterrent when I'm trying to sleep. Turn it on and stand it against the bedroom door. No more meowing and body slamming the door. Bidet toilet seat. It has literally decreased the amount of toilet paper that we use monthly by more than 50%, and that includes adding another entire person to the equation. We used more TP with 2 adults and 1 small child than we currently do with 2 adults and 2 elementary age kids. I got it initially to potentially increase the number of days that the wife would agree to fun times after kiddos are asleep. It has worked beyond my wildest imagination. Not me, but a friend purchased a set of old games from the 1980s 1990s for $10 and resold it on eBay. He somehow got someone to bid $1,200. I sold my SNES and a bunch of games for $300. I never used it but thought I could never let it go. Till I did. Don't even miss it. Back scratcher. Got it for $2. Use it at least once a day. Even if my back doesn't itch. Still soothing to just sit there and scratch your back. Salad spinner. Endlessly useful for getting almost anything you need to salty dry. Picked it up at IKEA because it was super cheap and I had seen chefs use them on TV. Now it's indispensable FTO me. I decided one year, for my birthday, that I should have a bass. I spent $190 on a fretless jazz bass and took it home with me. I'd already played a bit of guitar, so I was able to pick out shapes pretty easily. About 2 months into playing, I decided to go to an open jam, and even though I wasn't very good, the band there was super excited to have me because the keyboardist had been doubling with his left hand for months, ever since their bassist had moved out of town. I started going regularly and got by off of him yelling chord changes over his shoulder for me for about 2 or 3 months before they gave me my own songbook. After another few months they asked me if I wanted to play some gigs with them, and that's how I joined my first band. I played with them for about 4 years before forming a band with their percussionist on drums and a friend I'd met through the open mic on guitar. The 3 of us added a lead guitarist a year or so after forming, who was dating and is now married to our other guitarist. And after playing together for about 5 years we all moved across the country together. If I hadn't randomly decided that I should play bass instead of guitar, none of that would have happened. Super late to the party, but plants. We got a few for the balcony randomly one weekend, and not only has it skyrocketed in number but it is so ridiculously therapeutic. Just happily pottering away with my plants has helped so many times when I've had just a really hard or long day. Just watching them grow and giving them lots of love and care. So great. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.